My first official Team Justice tutorial. Welcome to Team Justice, everybody. Um, I usually never show everybody all my names for my characters. I'm not going to show you all of my characters. I'm just going to show you the first three. Uh, this is my tank DPS, my troll DPS, and my healer DPS. Yes, I DPS on all of them. So I guess the first lesson, if I'm going to teach you anything, is to make sure you plan to dual role, because you never know what's going to happen. You have no idea how many times I've been in a raid and I was the tank, and then a lower tier tank comes in and we're trying to carry him, but the damage is low, or someone needs a healer because the healer left, so on and so forth. So you never know what's going to happen. Always be prepared, and by being prepared, that means have multiple roles. So if you invest in anything other than the $15 subscription in this game, invest in a armory. If you have the $15 subscription, you can save up for an extra armory. I think the armory is like 200. I'll find out when I jump in. So we're gonna start with DPS, meaning I can jump in on either one of these guys. But I'm gonna go with my main, which is Obsidian Samurai, leader of Team Justice. We might have some people on, not sure, but this is a tutorial, so be prepared. Okay, so let's see. Oh yeah, I was taking the guys through this mission. Oh, we actually got some people on. What's up, Sleepy Vibes? What's up, More Shock? This is Obsidian Samurai, leader of Team Justice, just going through. We got some people that left the league. It's some of our new recruits. I didn't think they were going to make it, to be honest. Alright, so let me go first to my base. Oh, for all of those who don't know, this is the watchtower while I'm here. This is the meta wing on the right, the left side. Yeah, left side of the meta wing. What I mean by left side, right side, I got to do this for all the new guys. I apologize for the experts here. Alright, this is the entrance to the meta wing. You will notice the entrance because you'll see the teleporter to go to the police stations here. If you go in, you're facing this way. That's the left. That's the right entrance. Back in the day, when CR50, CR75 was the highest you can get, this was like the most popular area. This is where the armor came from, and they would have in every wing this type of armor just standing there that you could get, and they were role specific. One was healer, one was DPS, one was tank. I think this one was the tank. I'm not sure. Yeah, this one was, because this one is the healer. No, I'm wrong. I apologize. Let me just look so I won't be wrong. Okay, this one was... all of them were DPS, but they also had other roles. Oh my god, I'm lying. Okay, yeah, this one was healer. This one is tank. They all had a DPS. Yep, tank. This one was troll. It's been a while, guys. Spare me. And this one was when the Aquaman stuff, well, Aquaman armor came out. When level 85 and all that came out. And they only had your role. So If you were tank, it only showed tank role. If you were healer, it only showed healer role. Of course, still had DPS. Every option has DPS. Just to give you an idea, DPS armor has no role requirements. You see how this says requires role tank? It starts here. So anything up here is DPS. Remember that. These used to be the best 3 raids when you first started off. It's old school. Y'all won't know nothing about that. I'm not going to go through this entire watchtower because that's not the tutorial that I'm doing. Right now I'm doing the tutorial on different roles, and then I'm going to come back in and do artifacts and so on and so forth. Oh, y'all ain't see that. Y'all ain't see all my bases. All right. So this is my base, my main base. As you can see, I have 3 armories for my PvE side of things. This is my DPS, which is what I'm wearing right now. This is my tank, which is one of my favorites. My highest level, my highest CR level is always in my tank. Oh, hey, Sleepy Vibes. He wants help getting, help me get to level 30. Can you hear me, by the way? Are you able to hear me? If you hear me, say something or type or whatever. Oh, okay, yeah, you can't hear me. All right, cool. I would help right now. I'm kind of doing a tutorial for you, actually. Members, but I can reach out to some of the offline people and get them to come on. Oh yeah, boom, Moreless Shock. You the man. That's what I'm talking about. Moreless Shock, you must hear me too. So you must know how important this is. If you stepped up for me, thank you, man. I appreciate it. All right, so maybe should I change channels? I'm gonna change channels. I'm gonna go to Samurai Help because I'm helping. Okay, all right. So I presented the DPS and the tank, and this is my battle tank. Battle tank or battle in any role is basically a mixture of a DPS and that role. So you have a battle healer, you can have a battle troll, you can have a battle tank. You can't ever have a battle DPS because battle is just DPS. DPS means damage per second, but we use it to basically say damage. It's been 8 minutes. Wow. Woo. Okay, so let me get into it, shall we? Let's start with the DPS. Okay, so first things first, DPS, you want to, depending on what type of DPS you have, you want to use that accordingly. Actually, hold on, before I start, I'm sorry guys, I know I'm kind of stopping and starting and all this extra stuff. I hope everybody can hear me. Before I do anything, let me broadcast this online too. And link it so I can have people in there. So excuse me if I stop for a little bit. It won't take long, I promise. Of course, if you guys like this so far. Um, it would definitely help if you guys give me some suggestions of what you want tutorial wise, so I can actually help you. I know most stuff in the game, and if I don't, I can find out for you easy, um, by either going through it or, you know, figuring it out. All right, I'm live now. Let me share this to my crew. All right, I'm live now. Share this to my crew. All right, and I'm back. Whew. All right, so let me go back into it. First things first, we're going DPS, tank, and battle tank. I'll probably do all battle tanks. Let me actually turn this down for all. All right. All right, cool. So it's tank, DPS, battle tank. I'm gonna do all battle roles like on a separate video, but I'm gonna touch on DPS and tank on this one. I'm gonna just give you the roles, give you what artifacts they usually go with them, so on and so forth. Blase, blase. All right, so first things first, let's go over the augments. These are very important. A lot of people don't even, be honest, don't even care to get these up. But these are very, very important. As you can see, mine are kind of low right now because I replaced the old ones with these, and I gotta get these up. Of course, the metagenes are a whole new different story. My character is a DPS, and he's might based. Let me tell you what that means. All right, there's 3 different focuses you can do for your actual character. You can respect him to be a weapons expert. That means you use all weapons, only weapons. You could use powers, but most of your damage comes from your weapon. A hybrid is a mixture of both. As you can see in the stats, there's a power region, a negative power region for the weapons, because your weapons give you a lot of power region. For weapon attacks, you restore a percentage of your power in the hybrid, because it's a hybrid. So you get that power region on your weapons back. The negative 25 is gone. You have 10% might, 5% dominance, 5% restoration, 5% bite. It's good for. These are more good, better for like your battle tanks or your battle trolls and so on and so forth. But they can also be used to do a lot of damage as well if you know how to mix between your power and your weapons. It depends. Like I know a guy who uses bow and arrow, but he also does a lot of gadget stuff, and it works. It does the job. Superpower is usually what I use because of the power generation, and you get 10% power, you get 10% might, you do a lot of damage. You can literally use your powers only and I'm gonna show you. I'm gonna actually do a run and show you the difference. Well, I'm not gonna pick a weapons character because I haven't built one per se, but I can before I do that video to prove my point. Well, I will show you my might or my superpower based character and what a DPS usually does and what role, how his role plays out in solo, a duel, so on and so forth. Okay, so this is usually how you would spec a superpower DPS. What you would do, which is usually the normal general DPS that you would probably do. Now, excuse that I have maybe 383 skill points here. Not everybody has that, so a lot of these won't be filled out. But the most important thing that you want to fill out is your critical attack chance and your critical attack damage. Everything else, you'll get there. Okay? Don't worry about it. Don't stress yourself out. Okay, like, of course, if you're specking, which is what it's called when you're putting all your stats in, you want to, for DPS, what I'll usually do, instead of just putting one weapon point, because I have so many points and I end up wasting my just randomly putting them in spots, my character right now has dual wield, so I maxed out all my dual wields, so I would be able to do this. As you can see, weapon changes to different weapons because, you know, that's the weapon mastery. Oops. Okay. So, what I would do with dual wield, I would max it all out. So I'll have dual wield mastery. You go in, and you see what you need at the bottom. So I got brawlers and I got bow and arrows. So I would go to brawling, max that out, except for the bottom. Make sure I get to brawling mastery, and the other one was bow. Max that out. Make sure I get to bow mastery at the bottom, so I don't have to do all of these because these are for the mastery for the bow. For my main character, my main weapon is the dual wield. So, of course, that's what I'm going to aim for. I want to try to knock out a question that someone had because they had picked up a lot of weapons. Your main weapon is based off of, you know, your highest. If you get a weapon, like for example, you're in a raid and a weapon drops and it's a higher CR than you already had. Like if I get something higher than 253, maybe like a 257 weapon, my first reaction is to put it in the place of that weapon. Let me see if I have enough. I have 61. I'm not sure if that's enough. I don't think it is. Let me check. It's probably good. And I got about 61. Let me see. But yeah, don't worry. We're gonna go over the whole DPS thing. I have not been to Thanagar in maybe 2 weeks, so I'm just gonna ignore the fact that I have all this stuff. Ooh, I forgot I can get some of this stuff. Anyway, all right. I might get the Cursed Coral Chroma set. So it'll take a while. Bat signal uplink. Alright, so let me go to the weapon. Wrong one. Okay, so here we go. Oh, remember how I was talking about the augments earlier? This is where you get your augments from. So wherever your urgent war front is where you go for your augment. If anybody has questions, of course, there's a chat window. You can honestly go and chat and I can answer your questions. Just want to throw that out there because I see 2 people watching right now. Anyway, back to what I was saying. Okay, so augments. Why is this not moving? So we'll just use the. All right, here we go. Weapons. So you see how these are 255 and it's all green. That means it's good. That means that's what you do. You look for that in item level because that's what's going to boost your stats. That's what's going to get you up there. As you can see, this is red because I put no points into dual pistol. But brawling, bow, and dual wield, it's not red because, you know, I put points into that. So I can use any 3 of those weapons. So, if, oh yeah, and shield, of course, that was my main weapon. So, if anyone ever asks about why these are locked, that's because you haven't spec'd for it. You do that in this menu right here. Okay? As you can see, this is what it looks like when you don't spec for it. You can just put 1 in here and you'll be able to use the weapon. You don't have to do the whole thing like I did. Honestly, a lot of people just throw 1 in there and use the rest for their stat points to make sure their stats are right. What I did was I did my weapon because it helps when you're fighting like multiple enemies your level to run a weapon while you're doing your superpowers. Let me show you. I'm trying to find a good. Alright, here we go. Alright. Here we go. There's a lot of people. Knock them off their feet. See how much damage I'm doing? Easy stuff. And if you know your combos, you're good to go. So, it's just something to do versus the monotony of just running your powers over and over again. And all you see is this. And the rotation. Going back and forth the entire time. As you can see, my powers are taking way more damage than my weapons took. Because I've worked in my powers more than I worked in my weapons. And that little guy that you see right there, I'll explain him as well when I get to the artifacts. But just wanted to show you the difference and show you what...
Welcome back to the front lines.
Alright, so... Okay. I'm not going to pick up any of these missions because I don't really need them. Well, not until I start working on that 400. Okay, so... Back to what I was saying. You have your augments and your skill points. Like I said, I was a might-based character. Might is your superpowers. So, you know, as you see me use fire and how I was, you know, knocking those bad guys down pretty quick with my superpower, that's because I'm stacked in my stats, or I'm spec'ing my stats for superpowers. So I got my critical attack chance filled out, my critical attack damage, and instead of doing precision, which is for weapons, I did might and power, which is for your superpowers. Which is why they put power with it, because without power, it's hard for you to do your superpowers. So make sure you're respecting your dual wield. Well, not your dual wield, but your weapon. Next thing you need to go to before you even get to stat points, after your weapons, you go to acrobatics or whatever power set you have, and make sure you unlock your, you know, get across the room quick power, because it does help during raids to have some type of power that's going to move you across the room, depending. I do this also because I like it. It helps me get my power back. So, you know, if I know I'm low on power, I'll go into a crowd and, you know, purposely let them attack me to recover some power. I'm just retarded sometimes. Alright, so I'm not even gonna go into this yet. This is like advanced stuff. But basically, hard light shield, robot sidekick, heat vision, and super strength. Well, super strength is just something I like doing. I like picking up heavy stuff. And I had an extra point. Like I said, I wasted a lot of stat points. Sue me. All right, but the robot sidekick is usually done if you can't keep your ticks going for your damage. Way easier to continue to have a robot attack than not. Alright. Where was I going with that? Alright. So stat points. That's the last thing you attack. Make sure you do one for superpower. Make sure you do as much as you can for critical and as much as you can for a critical attack damage before you even go down to might and power. Because these are going to make this even better. So if you have, let's say, this is 20, this is 40, so that's 60 altogether. If you only have 60 points, do 10 here, do 20 here, and do like 30 here. So, you know, put the rest into your might and power. Of course, if you're going weapons expert, instead of doing might and power, you would do precision. So just keep that in mind. Next thing, I'm not going to go over a fire loadout because this is not about a fire DPS. This is about a DPS. But I want to go over the power interactions and what it means for a DPS. For a DPS, you should have three main things in your build, in your loadout. You need to have something that's going to burn or power interact with your enemy. There's karma for like sorcery. I think there's pollen for nature, burning for munitions, so on and so forth. So you have all types of power interactions. Not burning enemies take additional damage, but burns enemies. You know, make sure you see that it burns them. It puts them in that state of karma hex or whatever your power interactions does. Make sure you look for that, because that's going to be your first power. And fire, it's all of them have three of them. Well, I think it's more than three actually. Yeah, there's more than three, because there's inflame, there's fireball, there's meteor strike, there's reignition. I'm just going over all of them. Heat vision, which is not really a fire power, but it's an iconic power, but you can still use it as that. Immolation, which I wouldn't use. Inferno. Stoke flames. A lot of these you have to be close to them. Engulf pulls you closer. So there's a lot of them, but Inferno is probably the best one for a distant DPS player. There are some that can be done for short range melee fighters. You know, players who want to get up close and kill. Like Engulf, where you pull them close to you and then, you know, they start burning and then you can do all the damage you want to do. So I mean, it's completely up to your style of play, what you want to do in order to, you know, inflict damage. Of course, the best way for you to do that for a fire player in a higher raid would definitely be to be distant. But you can prove me wrong. There's no one way to do anything in this game. So I need to get a stabilizer fragment key, so you guys are coming with me. All right. DPS's main goal is to do damage. So that's what you do. Do as much damage as you possibly can. Of course, I'm not doing my real rotation. I'm just throwing out a cascade of flames. These are lighter enemies. This is a lighter mission. And I need my stabilizer to keep myself. Screw y'all. Alright.
I will rule you all.
I'm actually going to do my rotation this time. Dang, you didn't get fully through my rotation. As you can see, Full Metal Savage did a lot more damage than I did. So, you know, it happens. It's a scoreboard thing. DPS is all about the scoreboard. He ain't gonna pass me when I get my stuff up. I guarantee you. Alright, so I'm back on the top of the thing. How many people are actually watching this? I've been 31 minutes in. Alright, so here we are. As you can see, this is the DPS side. Let me put some... I'm working on my strategist card. I'm gonna have a separate video that goes over artifacts. This is just the introduction of roles and how to spec for a DPS. And I'm gonna tell you how to spec for a tank in a second. Alright, so I hope everybody understands the DPS side. It takes time, and what you spec for, you make sure you enforce. So as I was showing you this, you get the might absorbicons, or wherever level you are, make sure they're might. Or precision if you're using a precision based DPS. Everything has to be based on what you spec for. So don't make a character and spec for precision, but then you spec in superpower and then do might and power. It's not going to make sense. You're not going to be doing that much damage. Character's going to be confused. Everybody else is too. You might get kicked from a couple instances. That's about it. That's a DPS. A DPS basically just does damage. I could probably go into a raid and show you how everything is going to run. Oh, she looks pretty cool. Alright. Now I'm going to show you the tank side. Let me get back to my base. If you hear typing, that's me kind of, you know, typing to members of my league. Okay, so that was DPS. Let's go tank, which is this character right here. Alright, so tank is a little different, well, a lot different to be honest. Tanks are not meant to do any damage at all. Don't let anybody else tell you different. Tanks do not do damage. Tanks can do damage, and the little bit of damage they do is important. just like every other role, but they're not meant to do damage. They're not meant to, you know, do much as far as damage goes. But they can tank, and they can pick up 50,000 different, well, not 50,000, but they can pick up plenty of different ads or enemies and bunch them together and let all the DPSs burn them down to nothing. So they're there to make sure the crowd is controlled, that you hold stuff in place, so on and so forth. Let me show you. As you can see, they're attacking me. This is what a tank does. Notice that the DPS decided to attack all of the people that were attacking me. Oh, I did not mean to do that. Oh, yeah, they're also for the bosses too. I could probably tank them for a little bit to show you. Up. I'm not here to impress. I'm just here to teach. So, tank usually withstands that damage. You add in the healer and the troll to take off some of that damage, some of the ads, cool down some damage, and the tank will pretty much hold people in place long enough to distract them so that you kill them. So, yeah, that's what the tank does, and I will definitely show you the spec for it. As you can see, he just wiped me out in like 4 hits. He's one of those big enemies that you have to have at least 8 players to defeat. At least 8 players. Oh, here's a good chance for me to do it. Somebody wants to tank for the last boss on Phoenix Canyon regular. I like this look, by the way. Alright, I'm going to be able to show you what tanking basically is. This is Phoenix Canyon, one of the new content raids for Metal Part 2. Alright, so first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to show you the spec later on. But right now, I'm going to go tank this last boss. Just to show you the abilities of the tank. I know I'm tired now. Alright, I'm going to put my trinket on to boost some of my stats, and I'm going to lunge.
Cover me.
As soon as I lunge,
use the key of that
pull,
to reconfigure the
so
cannon.
that they're all focusing on me. pop my health so I can heal. And I'll fight the tank. I have a big health bar as a fire tank. So I gotta make sure it stays healing. So I always do a little pull. Always pop a health or heal. And I'll pop immolation because it has a shield. It shields me from some of the damage. And I'll do a pull because it heals me. All I gotta do is let them do their work. I don't do any of the attacking. I just do all of the holding. But, you know, I threw a trinket in there to help me with a little bit of the attack. And as you can see, it's that satellite thing, the orbital strike.
I no longer feel pain.
All I gotta do now is just take these guys out. You must have a really good healer because I am definitely not dying. My health is not going down at all. You know, as much as it would if I didn't have a hit. I'm doing a lot of blocking. I have fortified blocking, so that's how you can see that pretty much can block a lot of the damage. As you can see, they attack, my health goes down, it goes right back up, type of damage, pop that tick again, go forward, get some health, heal, pop immolation for my shield. You gotta keep moving back and forth. You can't ever stay still.
I no longer feel
as far as popping your power skill. Like, I could move around the board if I wanted. Like, I would rather sit and block. Let them take out at least 2 or 3 more guys.
enough.
The only time you move is when there's some type of mechanic
I no
in the game,
longer feel
or,
pain.
you know, there's some type of thing on the field or something on the floor, like a dead water pool. That's when you would possibly move.
I expected better.
We'll go over that later. Dead water pools, the mechanic, that's great. You just example what a tank does. About tanks, these guys would be attacked way more than they're being attacked right now. And everybody with you keep seeing that big old spiral of fire come out, that's my pull. Hi, doggy with mad. I don't know. Hi.
Run to whoever you're tethered to. That was a mistake.
Right. You see they kicked around. Kicked about 2 of them down. Still got 2 left.
I can survive anything.
Just keep blocking. Keep pulling them in. Keep healing. Make sure that you or the teammates don't die. They focus on making sure that they stay on you. Other part of tanking the knocking the bosses off it. Knocking, they'll pretty much fall. Which you're supposed to do. So you get them off their feet. Make sure that they're not, you know, doing a lot of damage. He's about to do some type of move and I stopped him. There we go.
regret that.
I know you see those metal men coming out. It's because people will step in water and it's metal pools. You're not supposed to do that. Like, going for the feet. Other than that, there's literally no reason for anyone to step in those pools. I can see Red Death.
That's nothing.
You know I'm broadcasting live in the middle of a tutorial. Yeah. Oh.
Hera, protect me.
All right, this is the end right here, guys. I really didn't mean to do this raid, but it's a perfect way to show what a tank can do.
Done yet, Batman?
What a tank does as a rogue.
That man.
I'll probably do that with all
always
rogues
wins.
to show you what they do.
Did Batman
The
just
best
make
way
a
to
joke?
kind of handle.
Maybe
some
it
of these
really
rogues.
is the end of all worlds.
I've opened a portal to the dark multiverse, but we need to hurry. Gather a team. This road may lead to darkness,
And that's the
but
end
now
of
it's
this
on
raid.
our terms.
Good thing it was the last boss. Now this is less of a scoreboard type thing. I'm not going to do the highest amount of damage. I'm going to do the lowest amount of damage because, like I said, a tank is the opposite of DPS. We're not here for the fame. We're here for the to get our butt kicks, so the other team doesn't. So the other team members don't have to. As you can see, I'm not high in anything but damage received. And god dang, somebody had more damage received than me. I don't know why. Probably 'cause it's a tank left or something. Anyway, that's the gist of it. And I'm going to show you how to spec for a tank while I still have your attention, hopefully. Let me go back to my base. I should have just teleported to my base. Alright, so here we go. Back to the base. Alright, so I'm not even going to go into white mods yet. I'm going to save that for later. But that's also important for you. You see these mods? It said leg sockets, chest sockets. Those are white mods. I'll explain those later too. This video is just basically to introduce the roles. So I'm not going to go in detail on a lot of this. Just going to try to give you an idea of what the roles can do. My next two roles are going to be healer and troll. So I'm not going to have to explain the DPS side of things. Thank God. Man, I got a lot of stuff that I gotta get rid of. If y'all are watching now and y'all see some stuff that y'all are interested in that's tradable, not that, that's mine. Let me know and I will give it to you. Love you too, babe. See you when you come back. Sorry, I'm a stickler on getting my stuff. Oh, let me open this. I'm one of those people that always go for the collections or the enhanced, because you either get a feat like this, or you get whatever the collection gives you at the end of getting the collection. This is what I should have went for. Okay, so let's go into specking for a tank, which is a little bit more difficult because it's not the easy 1, 2, 3 heave ho on the critical attack. Now you have to actually spec for what you want. And since I'm not doing might and power, and I'm not focusing on my superpowers when it comes to damage, I'm focusing on my superpowers now when it comes to dominance or restoration or vitalation or might. But more, as you can see, it's recommended for controller, healer, tank, for roles, or for damage, both types. So if you want to make a hybrid, like I said, a hybrid weapon slash superpower damage person, this would be the role to do. If you want to do any role, healer, controller, tank, this is the one, the middle one, hybrid. Of course, I start off with, I did more dominance than anything. I didn't do as much health this time. This is more of an experiment because most of the time I do a lot of health, and it actually helps. But as you see, as you saw during the raid, I was able to do the entire raid without dying, without any problems, because my dominance helps my healing for my fire tank. So because I put dominance all the way up to the top almost, it helps with my healing. So I put a couple of critical healing chances, a little bit of critical healing magnitude, some restoration, which will help me heal as a fire tank. So I don't need as much health because, you know, I got enough in here. I have no idea why I have might and power. Probably for the power aspect of it, but like I said, it was an experiment, and as you can see, the experiment went quite well. All right. I'm typing, as you can see. All right, so that was the tank specs. It's a lot different, as you can see. There's so many things you can put it in. For a fire tank, of course, dominance and health and restoration. But you always want to do dominance if you want to heal more, and definitely health so that you can withstand most attacks. I put highlight shield, but that's more for my battle tank. Super strength, of course. Acrobatics. Got all that good stuff there. I'm throwing points away, I promise you. I got dual wield, which is pretty good. All right, so where was that? Okay, sorry, I got distracted. All right, I'm not gonna go over battle tank. That's gonna be a whole nother video. So that is DPS and that is tank. I'm gonna do healer and troll next. Like I said, it's spec'd differently. Like for example, my weapon. As you can see, I mastered this one, but I didn't take out on these weapon masteries right here. So, you won't see bow, you won't see brawling. There's nothing else is taken out, but all dual wield. So I can do all the combos, but you know, it doesn't really matter for those. Acrobats, I did a lot more. Stat points, as you can see, I definitely did a lot more on that one. Even though it's blacked out, doesn't mean I didn't take them all, as you can see. Alright, so I'm not going to go over the loadout and stuff for it. Oh, yeah, I can actually. You're right. I'm right. I can go over that. Alright, so tank's roll loadout is a little different. They have a long distance pull. They have a gather everybody together pull. So usually you would do like a long distance pull, like as you saw in the on the instance at the end when I had the bosses. I did this one to pull in all the ads on the outside, and I did this one to kind of gather them all together and remind them that I'm the tank. I'm aggroing all of the whatever. Then there's the shield, burns the enemy, gives me more health while burning, and it takes a little bit of the damage off. Of course, you know, you can always look at what it says in the summary, and it should tell you what everything does. Eternal Flame is my supercharge. This is what I do to kind of, it's like an emergency. If I know I'm going against like a heavy something and I know it's going to one-shot me and I didn't get like behind the rock at one point on one of the instances, then I'll use this to kind of tank the shot. Stoke Flames of Burning Determination give me health. Burning enemies on this one give you health all the time. Incoming attacks trigger additional healing up to 10 times, you know, so it helps. The more healing, the better. That's pretty much about it. If there's anything else you need to know about a tank or fire tanking, let me know. I've been fire tanking for years. Alright, so that is it for DPS and tank. I showed you how both are to react. I showed you what they do in their roles. I even did the last boss of Phoenix Cannon for you. So that's fire tank and that's DPS. Now I'm ending broadcast. You guys have a nice day.